Hello, loves. How are you? Welcome to day one of Higher Self series. So, I've been looking for a place to land with this, and what came through is to just start out by setting the intention that through this video, you feel a deeper, stronger connection within your own power, your own truth, and your own trust with your highest power. I actually was guided to just invite everyone who will ever watch this video, your higher self here, to support bringing in these co-creative messages so that it can support you in this moment in the best way that I'm capable of doing. What I felt first and foremost out of this energy is really allowing yourself to facilitate and strengthen that trust muscle with yourself and your higher self. Okay. So, trusting your ability to allow yourself to trust your intuition, and even in those moments that you experience something intuitive and you follow through with it, and maybe it doesn't turn out like you anticipated, that does not mean that you made the wrong decision. Okay. Your higher self wants you to know that that has been guiding you all along. And whatever decisions you've made, especially intuitively, have been to support you getting to where you're meant to be, providing you the experiences, opportunities, and lessons necessary to facilitate what your purpose is here. Okay. This kind of goes into the everything happening to you is happening for you idea. And I know sometimes this can be hard to absorb when we're experiencing things that are uncomfortable. But there is a tremendous amount of power in your ability, in our ability to accept and understand that everything is actually happening for us to learn from it. And if something uncomfortable comes up, I'm not saying it in the sense that you just accept it. So, say if somebody's hurting you, you don't just say, oh, that's happening for a reason. So I'm just going to let it happen. No, it's happening so that perhaps you can get more comfortable and assertive with setting healthy boundaries for yourself, or learning not to run away or wall off when something uncomfortable happens. It could be the opposite. It could be learning how to no longer dissociate and actually start looking at the truth of what people are doing versus making excuses for their poor behavior or unsavory treatment of you. Okay. So it's where we're navigating and learning to become more comfortable in the uncomfortable experiences that we're having. And why this is important, because it's about dropping into the truth and allowing ourselves to experience all of the truth. Okay. And this is why embodying or inviting in our own higher power, our own higher truth, and our own highest alignment is so important. Okay. Because you're you for a reason. Okay. You have your own uniqueness, your own specific intelligence and experience that is important not only for you, but also the people that you interact with in the world. And so the more you facilitate trust with yourself, above all else, the more you will feel empowered in your life. Okay. And this is where we start to move into these ideas of being more and more authentic. And like I've said before, it's not that you haven't been authentic. You've been being the version of you that you needed to be with the tools that you had and that you remembered, right? But as you've embarked on this awakening journey to more of who you are via whatever initiation brought you here, whatever catalyst experience, whether it was a spiritual awakening or an illness or a divorce or a move or a job change or a twin flame divine counterpart catalyzation, whatever brought you to this space where you started looking outside of and beyond what you were taught, is actually supporting you in aligning with your true soul essence, in allowing yourself to drop into who more and more of you are as an authentic being versus only fitting into what you were taught or what you were told is the right or correct thing. This is not to say that those things don't have value and that pieces of those will not move forward with you. It's just more about unraveling the parts that keep you squished or small or don't hold space for what it is that you're actually wanting to create. Okay. So connecting with your higher self is important on multiple levels, building and facilitating trust with that, inviting that energy and essence of your soul back home to your body, right, is an important part of the embodiment ascension process because most of us are actually choosing to expand and evolve versus and allow our abilities to grow while we're embodying here still in a physical world versus leaving the planet. Okay. And there's quite a bit to this in the sense that there's a lot of ways that we can talk about working with the higher self. But first and foremost, it's just the most powerful way to begin is by setting that intention that you want to invite your higher self energy to be with you. And then also noticing how you're feeling as you're starting to look at your life or moving through your life or making your decisions. What things actually feel good and supportive for you? What things are you doing, but you don't really want to be doing? Maybe you're doing them out of an obligation or because you feel that you have to do them, but you're doing it more out of like a fear energy versus an authentic energy. Okay. And I want to hit on something really quick right here, right now. You might choose to do the very same thing that you're doing out of fear, out of what you actually want to do. And that's where sometimes things get confusing because we'll feel the fear, but it'll also be a part of what we really want. But it's the fear in doing it, operating out of the anxiety and the fear is actually what kind of keeps us stuck and limited. So if we can continue to do the things we want to do, because it feels in alignment with what we want, and we can free ourselves from doing it out of the fear and the obligation, that can actually be the thing that frees up our energy enough to move forward and kind of skyrocket with what we've been in the process of creating. So sometimes it's not about unraveling your creation or what you are doing and letting that go. Sometimes it's just about letting go of the fears that are attached to it. And I'm bringing this up because it's our survival mechanisms and our protective mechanisms that have been in our systems and in our ancestral systems that have obviously helped us survive, but they've always also kept us limited. Okay. Because we get so attached to some of those, we're scared to listen to our higher guidance. So some people might be getting bombarded with higher guidance and intuition about how to move forward, but they're so attached to the material and being scared that they're going to lose what they have. And if they let go of the fear and the survival energy, they're afraid they're going to lose everything. But in truth, if they start to follow those higher intuitive guidances, yeah, things might get a little bit uncomfortable for a while. But that little bit of discomfort may be the very thing that's freeing you up to where you're going to catapult to. And I actually, as I'm sitting here, I can say this to you because I actually experienced it. I actually allowed myself to fully walk it and landed on the other side. Okay. Still in process on some levels, but now I'm stabilized in my new foundation versus the limited one that I was kind of living in, um, that had those essences of more of a survival energy. I knew that the only way I was going to be able to grow and facilitate the energy that I wanted to in the new way was going to be to unravel out of those survival mechanisms and energies and kind of codependent structures that were in my life. Okay. And so I actually have quite a bit of experience with this. So when I'm talking about bringing in our higher self, as we go through this series, I want to share with you some of the very tangible physical world ways I've used these energies to help support me with feeling more comfortable moving forward. And it really does boil down to opening up to your intuition and learning to trust that part of yourself. Okay, because your intuitive higher power is a lot of your power. Okay. Your logical side is very powerful and important too. Okay. The thing is the survival part, we want to embrace it and thank it for its logic and for its ability to help us survive. But we also want to give it space to evolve into a thriving state of mind. And so to allow that to occur, it's where we invite our higher self and our intuition to support that survival part of ourself. So you start to feel more comfortable with trusting your intuitive premonitions and inklings because you're trusting yourself. So start with small things. Start with something that maybe isn't, changing the whole foundation of your life and start to exercise that intuitive muscle. Okay. And this is where trusting it and allowing yourself the space to trust your intuition, follow it, experience it. And then, even if it doesn't pan out exactly the way that you thought it was going to, does not mean that your intuition was wrong. I want to acknowledge that up front because there have been many times in my life where my intuition was so certain that I needed to be doing something. And in my mind, I needed it to be the be all end all. Like, this is the path I'm going down, and this is going to be it. And I would start down the path and find out after like a couple weeks or a couple months, like, this isn't the right path for me. But my intuition was still spot on in the sense that I needed that experience. And this was important early on in this part of my journey because I was still trying to control a lot of things. I still wanted to feel very safe. And so my higher self, excuse me, understood that I needed to connect with it in that way. And so if I understood energetically something was going to be beneficial for me in the long term, I would do it. But what was funny is sometimes it was a short term experience that had a long term benefit. And my ability to allow myself to go through that process and discern that information and realize how important the experience was for my future, it allowed me to trust, like, okay, even if it doesn't end up how I thought it was going to end up, it was exactly where I needed to be so I could get that piece of information that I needed. It gave me the experience that was a puzzle piece for where I'm headed. And if I didn't stop there and get that piece, I wouldn't have everything that I need for where I'm headed, right? It's kind of like packing for a trip, right? And on your way, say, you stop at a store and you grab some other things, and then down the road, you realize like your car stalls and you needed those extra snacks. Okay, it's something like that in the sense that sometimes we don't know where everything is leading us, but what you can do is really build that trust with understanding that every experience that you're having is ultimately there to support you. Okay. And yes, sometimes we have to decipher which way it's there to help you. Sometimes it is uncomfortable. And like I said, it's there to teach you to set different types of boundaries or to say, oh, you know what? That doesn't feel right to me. I don't want to participate in that. I'm going to focus my energy over on this. I don't have to resist it. I don't have to fight it, but I don't have to participate in it either. Okay. And so it's this dance of starting to truly discern what you want to use your energy for. Also, when you align with that higher self energy, you can start to build that trust and surrender with the higher power, knowing because you've built that trust and you're building that connection to your own direct higher power, that the more you trust it, the more comfortable and easier it is to just say, okay, you know what? I might not see what the next step is on the path, but I know one is coming and I know what my intentions are and I know what I'm asking for. So I know whatever does come is ultimately going to be coming to align me with where I'm asking to go. Okay. Sometimes it does not look like that. I went through that. I kept asking for certain things to happen in my life, and in my circumstances, no matter how hard I tried, they were not happening. But when I let myself unravel out of those circumstances and let myself start in a fresh new way and a new foundation, it became so obvious to me that the things that were unraveling, even though it was uncomfortable when it was falling apart, the things that were falling apart were the very things that were holding me back from achieving and creating the life that I wanted. Okay. So you just keep going one step at a time, loves, and you keep asking to build that trust with yourself, with your inner knowing, and with your intuition, and then practicing trusting it and listening to it, and also knowing, regardless of what happens, even if it's uncomfortable, your next step of your job is to sit down and discern and find what it was trying to teach you and show you. Okay. And I feel like you guys are doing this probably a lot already, but it felt very important to start out in this very grounded, tangible way. Okay. Really homing in on trusting your intuition, coupling it with your logic, and allowing yourself to go through this process in a deeper way of embodying into your soul essence in the most authentic way. The more that we do these things, one step at a time, one day at a time, one experience at a time, that is the actual embodiment. That is the embodiment process, loves. And the more you're embodying your soul essence in your way of authentically living, the more of a match you're going to be and become magnetically for those things that are meant for you and the things that your soul has intended to do while you're here in this life on this planet. Okay, loves? So, I actually do want to end it with a final message. Let's just see what else wants to come in with you for that. Hmm. Um, and we'll go from there. All right, let's see. Joyful muse inspiration. This is kind of making me laugh. What's coming through is actually something tangible, like right now, here in the moment. Your your higher self wants you to actually notice what brings you joy, what opens you up, lights you up, puts a smile on your face, puts you in a position where you want to open your heart and where you feel comfortable to fully be you. And then when you connect in with those things, whether it's music, whether it's people, whether it's an environment, whether it's whatever it is, art, doesn't matter. Whatever it is, pay attention to those things because those things are leading you towards what your higher self and your true purpose has intended for you. So many of the old programmings have taught us to be obligated to do what we're told, that we have to do the things that are uncomfortable, to suppress our internal nature, right? Those were so many things that we had to just do just to survive, to get through school, to get through work, whatever it was. Okay. There's this energy in our systems around thinking things have to be hard and uncomfortable in order to be prosperous or in order to be successful. But what if it's the opposite? What if it's easy? What if the things that light you up and bring you joy are what's guiding you to where you're meant to be? What if those are the very things that are your authentic purpose? Those expressions. Okay. So that's going to be your homework. And I actually love that this is what's coming through. I want you to spend time noticing what's bringing you joy. And then I would like you to trust your intuition. Ask your higher power, ask your higher self to show you and to start to guide you in how to incorporate more of these joyful things into your life in a day-to-day basis. How can you incorporate those things into your space more? Okay. What can you unravel and make room in your life so that you can bring the things that bring you joy? Because what's coming to me, they're showing me is so much we get busy and we have all of these things that we do. And then all of a sudden, the end of the day comes and there's a little bit of space, and people are so exhausted, they just sit on the couch and play on their phone or watch TV or go to sleep or whatever have you. What would happen if you found something that truly brought you joy and you took 20, 30, 45 minutes in at the end of the day and just gave yourself space to practice or embody it or experience it, whatever it is? Just find one thing that you've always wanted to do, one thing that brings you joy that you haven't been allowing yourself to do, and make space for it. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, that is making space for your higher self. That is making space for your true heart. That is making space for more joy in your life. And it's something you can start immediately. Okay, loves? And this is a way, connecting with your joy, connecting with your heart, connecting with your intuition is a tangible way of connecting with your true core soul essence and higher power and higher self. All right, loves, we're going to leave it there. I'm excited to see where this series takes us because I have to tell you, as of right in this moment, I'm along for this journey with you. All right, loves, have a beautiful rest of your day. I will see you soon. I do have, I think, one or two more sessions available for next week. And then my schedule is open if any of you want to connect with me on a one-on-one basis. And I am going to have some information on a group coming up. I'm just really looking to see where that is going to land. But thank you all so, so much for being here. I love you and hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, loves. Bye.